first of all, I'd like to take a question from up here. Thanks.
Yes, good evening. Mr. Aronovich said he blamed the public schools for having the temerity to compete with the state. Well, I would say the free society, free institutions, private institutions, call them what you will, should be allowed to compete with the state. That's the nature of a free society. And if he's so concerned that the public schools are competing too successfully with the state, why doesn't he free the state sector to compete back and rid it of its burdens? I speak of the real blight on British education, you like archipelago of comprehensive dumps. Last year,
Okay, I think we've got the point without a huge amount of statistical backup. Thank you. David.
I'm really glad that you asked that, because in asking that and in prompting some applause, you have really, those who applauded it have really shown themselves in their true colours. What did I say? I didn't say you shouldn't have the temerity to compete. What I said was this: every time that state schools do something to improve the position for their students in terms of paying their staff more and having more capital available, the private schools will put their fee structures up so that they can outcompete them. It is what they do. The point that I was making was there will come no point at which state schools will be better resourced, as well resourced, anything like as well resourced as the private schools. That is because private schools are set up precisely not to permit that to happen. That is why you get the new library block, the new performing arts block, the new sports block in all these places. I'm not saying it's not a good idea to have it. It is why every time too many kids start getting A-levels, the private schools begin to ask for a form of qualification that will allow them to separate their product from those of the state schools. That is what they do. When you buy into the system, let's be honest about it, be frank with yourselves about it. It isn't because you want them all to do modern languages. There may be one or two of you that care about it. It's so that they end up where you are and no lower, and if anything, slightly above. That's what it's all about. Admit it. And that's what I'm saying is a blight. We take part in it, but we should at least be honest about it.
Okay, can I take another question from up there? And then can we have a microphone down here? Thank you. Yes.
Hello. My name is Axel Landon. I'm from Camden, and I feel that these quite sensationalist caricatures that are put about state schools, particularly by the opposition that we've heard tonight, we read all the time in the media, are quite dangerous in actually influencing people to opt out of the maintained sector in favour of private schools. I went to a local state school, the same one as David, incidentally. That school offers Latin. I did languages at GCSE, no soft subjects, I did all the separate sciences. And I got a perfect good education, so many hundreds of people do. And I would feel that when Barney Lennon questions why there are so many people from public schools in those eminent positions that he talked about earlier, it might be an idea to turn that question around and, in the words of Anthony Selden, the Master of Wellington College, it might be because the best results, the best facilities, the best teachers, and the best university places are for independent schools. The stranglehold is almost total.
Thank you. Do you think that that private schools are guilty of scaremongering, Mary?
Private schools? No, I don't. I mean, I know where you're coming from, and I also appreciate David's stuff about the new performing arts block. And sometimes I go to public schools, and the carpet on the floor makes me sick. It's better quality than I can afford at home, and I think this is just too plush. But in the end, I know how few people are taking Latin and Greek and German and French at ordinary, good, and many are very good state schools. And I know actually what pressures the teachers, the excellent teachers at those schools are under to actually deliver an education that they actually don't want to deliver. This is kind of preempting what I'm going to say. When I came to think about where I was going to send my kids, not having been to an independent school myself, I could not but look at the local, in many ways excellent state schools in my town, bloody Cambridge this is, it's not, this isn't Hickville, this is Cambridge. And the best school in town taught French and German in alternate years, and that was the only language you could learn. And I thought, I can't do this.
Right, question from the floor. There's one over there. Thank you. I'll take two, actually, here. Okay, that one first, please. And then there's one behind you. Or one down in the front as well. Okay, that's fine. If you could stand up, please, that would help for the cameras. Thank you.
This is for David Aronovich. I was just wondering, you keep saying that the state schools are never going to be able to compete with the private schools in terms of what they can pay their teachers. I'm a teacher in a state primary school, and I feel quite strongly that we want teachers who choose the profession as a vocation, not for the paycheck.
Okay, can you just hold fire a moment there? We'll take this one here. Yep.
Make a comment, because I've been involved in various ways in education since I first went to school for 65 years, and I've had 4 children who've gone through. And I started out with the view that the secret to our society, which is a class-ridden society, is equality, but education must be the cornerstone of that development. So I am very disappointed with the 3 people that we've had putting the motion forwards, because they've been essentially negative and destructive. I haven't heard a word of positive. How are we going to do something better? But what I like is what Mary Beard, my namesake, actually said, and that is she wants to do the same thing, but she would like to actually make sure that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Public schools provide a level of education which is just fantastic. But we would like to share it out and about. But until we get teacher pay sorted out, where the best teachers are not drawn in, where the money is, we're in big trouble. So
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to throw that actually to Francis or Martin.
Is this working? I have every sympathy with you. If we haven't been positive on this side, it may be partly to do with the nature of the motion. If you're proposing that public schools are a blight on Britain, that in itself is not a very positive thing for Rose. It is intrinsically negative. It doesn't mean we're not positive. It just means we're trying to get rid of the bloody negatives so we can be more positive. I mean, public schools are a blight. They promote social exclusion, social engineering, all the rest of it, as I talked about. But imagine if if people who go to public school now were educated along with the other 93% of their fellow citizens, mixed with them, grew up with them, learned with them. Imagine the explosion of talent and energy and passion and creativity and social inclusion, that lovely Blairite word, that would follow from that. So it's not that we lack positive things, it's just that we're proposing that public schools are a blight. Of course we're going to be negative.
Well, can we just let David briefly answer? You're okay, you're over there. Okay, yes, go on, teachers' pay.
Yeah, twice it's been suggested that teachers at public schools are paid a lot of money. I just want to say this is completely untrue, that all the schools I've worked at, and I'm a governor of 6 schools at the moment, that in private schools, our pay reflects and is more or less the same as in the state sector. And the reason that our fees went up in the years that they did, as David described, was because of the incredible inflation of state school teachers' pay in the first 5 years of the Blair administration. In fact, there are quite a lot of private schools where the teachers are paid just a bit less than in the state sector. That's true in quite a lot of the girls' public day school trust schools, for example. Why, therefore, do these teachers work in these schools? Because they get better discipline, a more enjoyable environment, and above all, because they're able to teach academic subjects to a high level. It's nothing to do with the pay.